And we are keeping a close eye on that forecast for this weekend. Obviously, a lot of people will be in town to take in that concert, the CCMF. And unfortunately, it does look like there's a couple of chances to see some rain throughout the concert over the several days that it's ongoing. We've just got this persistent onshore flow thanks to being on the western periphery of the Bermuda High. And that's pushing all this moisture off of the Atlantic up into our area, into the Carolinas. And that's going to continue through the rest of the week until a cold front passes through into the day on Saturday, and then trending a little bit drier as we head into the later part of the weekend. Right now we've got some spotty showers moving through Robeson County right now, lifting up to the northeast there. They're actually drying out as lessening in size as they lift up to the northeast there. Maybe a few light sprinkles through parts of the PD here this morning, but most of you are starting off the day on the drier note. As we head throughout the morning hours, we're going to certainly see some drying trends over the next couple of hours, and just like yesterday, we're going to ramp things up in the mid to late morning hours. So this is a look ahead to lunchtime where you can see those scattered showers both out at the coast and across parts of our inland areas. Once that sea breeze kicks in this afternoon, that's going to push things away from the coastline and focus things a little bit further inland, and then actually trending a little bit drier into this evening than what we saw yesterday, where this particular model actually dries us out by about 5-6 o'clock in the evening, and then trending drier throughout the rest of the evening and into the overnight hours, with just a small chance for an isolated shower. So just like yesterday, not going to rain on anyone all day long, but that chance will be with us starting about mid-morning and continuing into the afternoon. Our temperatures this afternoon will top out into the mid-80s. It's warm and humid once again. Those dew points in the low to mid-70s means it's very sticky out there, and that means our overnight lows are only going to drop down into the low to mid-70s for overnight lows tonight. Mostly cloudy, again, just a small chance for an isolated shower, but most of us end up being dry overnight tonight. We're going to copy and paste those rain chances for today and put them on the rest of the week. So we've got that small chance out at the coast that we're going to see some late morning, early afternoon showers each and every day, whereas a better chance for some afternoon showers further inland through Friday. Then Saturday, a cold front comes through and that bumps up our rain chances across the entire area. And then Sunday, it does look like it's going to trend a little bit drier in terms of our rain chances. And we may even bring those percentages down as we head into Sunday and Monday as well. We steadily warm up into the upper 80s to the low 90s by Friday, and once that cold front passes through, that will drop our temperatures back down into the low to mid 80s. We may also see a little bit of a break in the humidity for the second half of the weekend as well. So you've heard of a cat nap, but what about an elephant nap?
Nice. So I heard of 15 elephants that escaped from a nature reserve in South China last year, took a break from their travels to squeeze in a nap on Monday. Look at these guys, they're out like a light. The elephants have been on the move since March of last year, making a 300-mile trek across China. We told you about these guys like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And my biggest takeaway was still the reason for their migration is not known.
We don't know.
Nobody knows what they're up to.
Where are they going?
Yeah, where are you headed, elephants? The animals were spotted snoozing in the woods of the Yunnan province.
Except for the baby.
Asian fellas, yeah, he was trying, wake up, Dad,
yeah,
let's go. Asian elephants are a protected species in China, and they really do look cute here, but according to the state news agency Xinhua, the herd has left a trail of destruction in their wake, trampling farmland with financial losses amounting to more than $1 million. And
I don't know that I've ever thought about how elephants actually sleep, but seeing them sleep like that.
On the side?
Yeah, like the big massive elephants just right on their side.
Popped over. That's why I guess, if they happen to pick your farm, those rice paddies are going down.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
Scientists in Australia say a set of bones discovered 15 years ago belonged to the largest dinosaur ever discovered in that country.
The dinosaur named Cooper would have weighed more than 60 tons. That's the equivalent to 1,400 red kangaroos. Cooper stood as tall as a two-story building and roamed about 90 million years ago. The bones were discovered by Robin McKenzie and her husband Stuart while they were rounding up cattle on their property. Not likely something that they were expecting to find that particular day.
No, I don't think so.
No.
That's crazy, though. Yeah. 1,400 red kangaroos. That really puts it into perspective for you. When you said that, I didn't get the scope, but when you said that, I was like, well, now I get it.
I feel like Australians would understand that.
Happening right now, Isaias is snaking up the East Coast.
We want to get right to meteorologist Chrissy Kohler with the latest on this storm. Chris?
Yeah, good morning, guys. We just got in that 5 o'clock update from the National Hurricane Center, and no change in the intensity, but the one big change with the track is that they're now forecasting it becoming a Category 1 hurricane a little bit later on today as it nears our coastline. So we are now under a hurricane warning, which was expected. We expected that this was a possibility for us to see that slight strengthening. Not a lot of difference in our impacts here, though. Just keep that in mind. We're only talking about a difference of 5 to maybe 10 mile per hour winds here with the potential track here on this system here at Isaias. You can see we've got those hurricane warnings. Those will be upgraded for Georgetown and Horry counties there, and then tropical storm warnings a little bit further inland. We also have those storm surge warnings along the coastline as well. This is a look at the current satellite picture. Again, it is a tropical storm right now with those 70 mile per hour winds moving to the north at about 9 miles per hour and starting to drift a little bit further away from the coastline of Florida, which is part of the reason that there could be some slight intensification of this system a little bit later on today as it drifts a little bit further out away from the coastline. That gives it a chance to re-intensify just a little bit. Here's a look at that current track, that 5 o'clock track that just came in from the National Hurricane Center. You can see being upgraded this afternoon to a Category 1 hurricane as it moves towards our coastline. That forecast track nudged just a touch to the west, but really, again, not a lot of change here with our impacts and what we're expecting going forward. We do expect it to be downgraded to a tropical storm after it passes by, possibly even before it makes landfall here along our coastline, maybe into North Carolina as well. There's still the possibility that it drifts a little bit further to the east and we don't get a direct hit from this and actually moves on into landfall in North Carolina. Taking a look at those impacts and timing, really we're looking at overnight tonight through those early hours of your Tuesday morning. So when a lot of you are going to be in bed is when we're going to see the bulk of this storm move through the area. Widespread heavy rain is expected overnight tonight, as well as the potential for some flooding, which the good news is not a lot of people on the streets during those hours. We are expecting those wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour, especially along the coastline. We'll talk more about what we can expect from Isaias overnight tonight. Chief Meteorologist Ed Piotrowski is in the house, and we'll get to that coming up a little later on. Yeah, those winds is certainly something that we talk about a lot when we talk about these tropical systems moving into the area. And we are expecting, as that is a strong tropical storm moving into the area, that we are going to see some of those higher wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour, mainly along the coastline. Keep in mind, the core of the highest winds is going to be closest to that center of circulation. So as you head further inland, we're going to see lower and lower wind gusts. As we take a look towards midnight tonight, when we see some of those highest winds passing by the area, as that center looks like, as Ed was just saying, possibly just offshore, we're looking at those winds upwards of 60 miles per hour along the coastline. But then you head further inland and we're more in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range as you look in towards eastern parts of the PD. And then even further inland, once you get back into those western areas, that's when we start to see those winds maybe gusting upwards of 30 miles per hour. But you're not looking at significant winds for those well inland areas. By about 2 o'clock, we're down under those 30 mile per hour winds, except for maybe up around the border belt. And then as we head towards 4 o'clock in the morning, we're back down to around just a breezy day, a typical breezy day at 4 o'clock in the morning there on Tuesday. As Ed was just saying, by that time that center of circulation moves up to our north, that really starts to make things die down quite a bit. And keep in mind that shift in the wind direction will also help us with the storm surge. As we take a look at what's going on here, again with those wind gusts, forecast 50 to 65 miles per hour closer to the coast, 40 to 50 miles per hour as you look at that area from the Grand Strand into the eastern parts of the PD, and then further west you go about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Now this could allow for some down trees as well as some down power lines, so that's certainly a concern for us. Make sure you're protecting your home and your neighbors' homes by bringing in any loose items, those outside chairs that could get picked up. Any kids' toys, make sure that those are brought into the garage and secured so that it doesn't become a projectile in case those winds do gust up to upwards of 60 miles per hour. There is a small tornado risk, especially along the coastline here, that we have about a 5% chance that a tornado could touch down within 25 miles of a certain point here, especially along the coastline here. Further inland, it's about a 2% chance. So a few brief tornadoes are not completely out of the question. Typically with a tropical system, they're on the weaker side, but that doesn't mean they still still can't do some damage. So certainly important to make sure that you have an app downloaded onto your phone, the WPDE app, so that you can be alerted if there is a tornado warning that's issued, especially since we're talking about an overnight situation. And then in terms of our coastal impacts, that storm surge forecast is 2 to 4 inches possible. And this is mainly going to be as we head into that evening high tide time. We're looking at the high tide at 8:23 this evening. Low tide on Tuesday morning is actually 2:46, which is around the time that we expect that center of circulation to move through. So this is actually good news for that storm surge forecast. And then we head for that high tide a little bit later on Tuesday, coming up at 8:40 in the morning. But once we get that center to our north, that actually shifts those winds to an offshore flow, and that helps to bring down that storm surge potential. So again, the time of concern would really be through that evening high tide, and then that concern starts to drop off just a little bit as we head into tomorrow morning. Once we get past tomorrow morning and things start to dry out, we're looking at mostly sunny skies actually, and those temperatures a little bit cooler behind the system, mid to upper 80s, and then we keep a chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms going forward. And as I was just talking about, we're starting to see that eye wall, like he's just said, making landfall possibly into North Carolina here, which is starting to put some of our area on the backside of this system, shifting that wind direction from a more onshore flow to that more offshore flow, especially as you look further to the south here through Georgetown County, where we're starting to see those showers moving in from the west, northwest down to the south, southeast. And that's going to continue as we head through the rest of the evening hours, as that center of circulation continues to lift up further and further to the north. A little bit of a closer look here for you, as Ed was just saying, that eye wall possibly making landfall just to the east of Little River. You can see we've got some moderate rain here into parts of North Myrtle Beach up into Little River. Nothing extreme here. Certainly we've seen heavier rain already this evening, but we've got some of those heavier showers moving through that area. Also back towards Loris, we've got some moderate rain down into the Carolina Forest area and Conway, getting a little bit of a drier pattern here. And again, keep in mind the shift in the direction of these showers. We're now looking at this because it's circulating around that center of circulation. We're now looking at this rain to be moving from the northeast down to the south-southwest, and it's going to continue to circulate back out towards the coastline here. As we look a little further to the south, we're starting to see more of an easterly shift here with the rain moving through Georgetown County down into Pleasantville, Plantersville, gonna get that one right, and then headed out towards the coastline here, Murrells Inlet in a little bit of a gap, as well as Surfside Beach, giving you a little bit of a break from the rain back into Socastee. But then as you look into lower Florence County, we've still got some moderate to heavy rain through parts of Johnsonville, back up towards Pamlico, into Florence as well. A little bit drier out towards just to the west, I would say, of Coward, but then Timmonsville, you're seeing at least a little bit of light rain. And again, this is shifting down to the south, that center of that circulation. We're now on the east side of it to the south side of it, so we're seeing that change in where the rain is coming from on the radar here. We've got some moderate rain up into Society Hill, Blenheim, and then as you look a little further up to the north, we've got some more heavy rain moving through parts of Lumberton down into Pembroke and Fairmont as well, and then into Laurinburg. And this is going to continue to add to those rainfall totals that we've already seen, although Georgetown County, you're starting to get to the south end of this as it continues to lift up to the north. So you're almost to the end of the, at least the rain with this system. As we take a look at some of these rainfall totals, the highest so far, we're looking at Deborah. We've got 5, almost 6 inches of rain there. Surfside Beach is upwards of 4.5 and right around 4.5 there in Litchfield. Socastee checking in right around 4 inches of rain so far. In Carolina Forest, just upwards of 3 inches of rain. Some of our lower rainfall totals, of course, further inland, which is right in line with the forecast here, where Florence, you're looking at just upwards of 1 inch of rain, and then Hartsville, just upwards of about 1/2 inch of rain. Guys? The good news is we don't have to say it for much longer, Ed. So by tomorrow night, we'll be talking about what's the heat and humidity returning to the forecast. As we take a look at the radar here, as Ed was just saying, we've got that eye moving on shore there in North Carolina. And so that's allowed us to be now on the east and south side of this storm, which has shifted the pattern in which we're watching the radar right now. So we're watching those showers up to our north head down to the south and even start to push offshore, where we're starting starting to see the edge of the precipitation down into Georgetown County right now, actually starting to dry out just a little bit as we head into those the rest of the overnight hours. Taking a closer look here, a little bit closer to the eye for us, you can see we've still got some moderate to heavy rain in parts here from Loris down towards the Longs area, along 17 in North Myrtle Beach as well. It's a little more broken along Highway 51 as you travel out of Myrtle Beach into Carolina Forest area as well as Conway, then picks back up as you get back towards the Aner area and then looking up towards Mullins. As we look a little further to the south down into Georgetown County, down towards Plantersville, moderate rain for you, and that's going to lift down towards Murrells Inlet, in fact. So this round of rain that you see back towards Pleasant Hill into Plantersville is going to shift out towards the coastline now that you're on the south side of the system, pushing back out over the Atlantic Ocean. So some of you down into Georgetown County, you got that nice little dry spell, thought maybe you were done with this. Not quite yet. We're still dealing with this rain that's going to push out off the coastline here. As we look back further inland, again, these showers up in towards the Danwood area, down into Pamlico and Cemetery is going to continue to push down towards the southeast as we head through the rest of those overnight hours. Back into Florence, you're kind of hit and miss. If you're on the west side of Florence, a little bit drier for you, whereas we've got some heavier rain on the east side of Florence right now. And then looking up towards Blenheim, you've also got a moderate shower moving through your area, through the border belt up into Lumberton, down into Pembroke and into Alfredsville. We've got some of that heavier rain still moving through your area. And again, this is going to push south down into South Carolina, into Dillon County, and then back into Laurinburg. We continue to see some of those heavier rain showers moving through the Rockingham area and again pushing down to the south. So now that we're on the east and south side of the system, again, you're going to look up to the north and watch for that to move south down to the southeast. As we take a look at futurecasts here over the next couple of hours, we're really going to start to dry out pretty nicely through Georgetown County. You've got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half of this left as it continues to lift up to the north. And in fact, we're starting to dry out back through parts of Florence and Darlington counties as we look towards 1 o'clock in the morning, and then lifting up into North Carolina by 2 o'clock. Much of South Carolina, much drier here over the next couple of hours. About 3 hours from now, you're really starting to dry out pretty nicely. And then it lifts up to the north even of the border belt as we head towards 3 o'clock. And futurecast as we head through much of the day tomorrow is going to be nice and dry. So behind this system, we're going to get a much drier day for your Tuesday. Good news for all those folks who will be doing cleanup as we head into the day tomorrow.